In this lesson, we'll look into a technique that will allow us to efficiently control the character's neck and head. We'll want our control to not only allow us to manipulate the character's neck, but also at the same time control the orientation of the head. So let's go ahead and look into this. What we can start out by doing is using a regular rotate plane solver, and we'll tie that from the neck bone to the head bone. From there we can give it a name. We'll call this our RP neck 01. Okay, so now that that has been done, we're now ready to work on a control that's going to allow us to not only manipulate the position of this IK handle to control the rotation of our neck bone, but what we'll also want is for it to not control the orientation necessarily of our head bone, this IK handle that is, but rather we want our control to do that. So let's go ahead and set that up. We'll create a box control curve, and we'll snap it right to our head bone. From there we can scale it down and reposition it in the side view. So let's go to our side view, and we'll go to our control points and just do a few quick fixes to this. Okay, we can have it follow along the path, if you will, or the flow of the top of our chest control, and then just reposition some of these points so it'll be easier to select. Okay, so I think that'll be fine. And then from here, if we go to the top points, we can scale those in so that it almost wraps around the top of the character's head. Now before we call this finish, let's go ahead and look at our character shaded just to see if this is going to be a good control for us. It's going to be easy to select. And just to make a quick fix, I think we can select all of our points and just scale them out a little bit more. Alright, that'll work just fine for us. So once we have something we like, we can go ahead and go back to template mode, and we can freeze our transformations to clean this up. We can call this object our CC underscore head 01. And now to have it control our neck and head, we'll first start by adding our control to the IK handle. So with the head control selected, let's now shift select our IK handle and go up to constrain, and we'll do a normal point constraint. Great, so as we select our control object, we're going to be able to manipulate this as needed. Now that brings us to our head control. So with the control selected, we'll select the head bone, go to constraint, and this time do an orient constraint. And what we get now is complete control over the orientation of the head using this object. So we're not only able to control the rotation by translating our head control object around, but now if we were to rotate the head control, we have full control over the bone's rotation. Alright, great. So now that this has been done, we have a few things we can do here. We want to make sure that this IK handle is going to be parented to our chest control. So we'll make sure of that, and this is going to allow us to avoid any flipping that would occur in the neck as we, let's say, twist our character 180 degrees. We also want to parent to the control is our head control. So with that selected, we'll select our chest and hit P. So now everything's going to follow as needed. Okay, excellent. Now, going to the head control, we can get rid of all of the attributes that we're not going to animate with it. So that scale and visibility will lock and hide. Now, this may look like it's finished. If we were to select our head and rotate this, notice it looks okay. But watch this. If we were to move this any further back, notice what's happening to our head bone. Okay, it's kind of bending back as well, and the same thing applies as we move forward. It's bending back. So to correct this, what we can do is actually use expressions. So it's happening because this IK handle is following our chest control precisely. But what we want to do is work on a few expressions. One that's going to allow us to control the offset, the Y offset of our IK handle. Okay, and another that's going to allow us to control an offset for our head control so we can avoid those issues. So what we'll do is stop the lesson here, and in the next lesson we'll work on completing our head control setup.